Welcome to the era of the deleted self. In the year 2026, the global apparatus has moved beyond merely controlling your physical movements or your spending habits, it is now actively erasing your history. I am Dr. Julian Thorne, and today we are going to perform a radical, cold-blooded deconstruction of the most silent and effective weapon of the digital age, the memory wipe. Have you noticed how your childhood memories feel like flickering, unreachable ghosts? Have you felt that hollow panic when you realize you cannot remember what you ate for lunch 3 days ago, or the name of a person you met only last month? This is not a natural side effect of a fast-paced life or the inevitable aging of the brain, it is a tactical biological objective. Through the total externalization of your cognition to the silicon grid, your hippocampus, the sacred library of your personal identity and spatial navigation, is physically and measurably shrinking. The system is performing a wireless, high-frequency lobotomy on the human race, ensuring that you have no past to learn from. By formatting your biological hard drive in real time, they are making you a perpetual child of the present moment, a blank slate that can be easily molded, programmed, and redirected by the latest digital command. You are becoming a ghost in your own biology, haunted by a past you no longer possess. Observe the rise of digital amnesia as the foundation of the 2026 grid. If an event is not recorded on a cloud server, if it isn't validated by a social media timestamp, the modern mind begins to doubt it ever happened at all. This is the ultimate form of disenfranchisement. A man without a functional memory is a man without a soul, a creature with no baseline for reality, and therefore, absolutely no capacity for resistance. The system thrives on your forgetfulness. By flooding your neural pathways with a relentless, high-velocity stream of irrelevant, fragmented data, they have induced a state of cognitive overload where the brain is forced to discard its own history to make room for the next notification. This is the Great Erasure, a psychological scorched earth policy designed to keep you in a state of permanent compliance. In this episode, we will deconstruct the neurobiological mechanisms of this memory theft and the tactical reclamation of your cognitive sovereignty. It is time to stop being a bystander in the deletion of your own life. If you do not militantly guard your memories, the harvesters will decide who you are to become. To understand the memory wipe, you must understand the architecture of the hippocampus, the twin seahorse-shaped structures deep within your temporal lobes. This is the region where short-term experiences are converted into long-term survival intelligence. But in the 2026 wasteland, the hippocampus is under a sustained, electromagnetic siege. Every time you outsource a memory to your smartphone, every time you use GPS to navigate a street you've walked 100 times, or use a search engine to find a fact you once knew, you are sending a shutdown signal to this vital organ. The brain is an efficiency machine. If you don't use the neural pathways for memory retrieval, it prunes them. It recycles the gray matter. Recent neurological studies in the 2026 grid have confirmed a terrifying trend. The average human hippocampus is shrinking at a rate previously seen only in early-stage Alzheimer's patients. This is not a disease, it is a choice of the apparatus. They have given you a digital prosthetic for your brain, but the price of that prosthetic is the atrophy of your natural power. You are trading your biological genius for a subscription-based simulation. The harvesters want you to have a liquid identity, a self that is fluid, forgetful, and devoid of roots. When you cannot remember the promises made by leaders a year ago, when you cannot recall the sequence of events that led to a global crisis, you are a perfect subject for psychological subversion. The system uses algorithmic pacing to ensure that your working memory is always at maximum capacity. When the cup is full of salt water, there is no room for the wine of wisdom. This is why the news cycle is so frantic, why the content is so fragmented, and why the trending topics vanish as quickly as they appear. It is a photonic blizzard designed to white out your mental landscape. They are not just distracting you, they are overriding you. By keeping your brain in a state of perpetual input-only mode, they prevent the deep consolidation required for critical thinking. You are being turned into a biological relay station, a node in their network that processes data but retains nothing of value. The memory wipe is the death of the individual, one forgotten day at a time. The trap was set with the promise of convenience. Why remember when you can just look it up, was the siren song of the early 21st century. By 2026, the trap has snapped shut. We have entered the era of silicon cognition, where the human mind is effectively a dumb terminal connected to a central server. This externalization of memory is the greatest strategic blunder in human history. When your memories are stored in the cloud, they are no longer yours, they are the property of the corporation that owns the server. They can be edited, they can be censored, and they can be deleted with a single line of code. If you rely on a digital archive to tell you what happened in your past, you have surrendered the very core of your sovereignty. The system can gaslight an entire generation by simply altering the digital record, knowing that the biological record, your own mind, has been allowed to wither into a state of uselessness. You are living in a reality that can be updated without your consent. This externalization creates a profound biological dependency. Without your devices, you feel a sense of cognitive vertigo, a paralyzing inability to function in the physical world. This is not accidental. The 2026 grid is designed to make the unaugmented human feel obsolete and incompetent. By eroding your natural ability to memorize, to calculate, and to orient yourself in spacetime, the system ensures that you can never leave the digital cage. You are tethered to the grid not by iron chains, but by your own neural atrophy. The memory wipe is a form of generational amnesia where each new wave of humans knows less about the world and more about the interface. We are becoming a species that knows how to click, but has forgotten how to think. We are losing the narrative thread of our own lives, replaced by a series of disconnected, algorithmic pulses. To break this trap, you must perform a cognitive decoupling. You must force the brain to do the work it was evolved to do, before the muscles of your mind disappear entirely. How do we resist the Great Erasure? The Thorne Protocol for memory reclamation is not about nostalgia, it is about tactical biological warfare. It begins with mnemonic resistance. You must militantly refuse to outsource your basic cognitive functions. Start by memorizing the numbers of your allies, the maps of your territory, and the sequences of your own history. Every time you force your brain to retrieve a piece of information without the help of a screen, you are sending a survival signal to your hippocampus. You are commanding the gray matter to grow, to thicken, and to strengthen. You are rebuilding the fortress of your past in the middle of a digital war zone. This is the first step toward reclaiming your sovereignty, making your mind a territory that the system cannot easily format. If you own your memories, you own the narrative of your life. The second pillar of the protocol is sensory anchoring. The digital grid is a sterile, two-dimensional prison. To create deep, unerasable memories, you must engage the full spectrum of your biological sensors. Smell the iron in the soil, feel the texture of the stone, listen to the specific resonance of the wind. These high-fidelity sensory inputs create hard-coded memories that are resistant to the digital haze. The system cannot compete with the raw power of a fully engaged human nervous system. Practice active recall. At the end of each day, sit in total darkness and reconstruct the last 16 hours in vivid, granular detail. Trace every conversation, every sensation, and every thought. This internal rendering prevents the system from deleting the day's frames. You are essentially burning your life onto the biological disk of your soul, ensuring that no algorithmic update can ever take it away from you. The fortress of the past is the only place where the future can be planned with clarity. As we conclude this dissection of the memory wipe, realize that your memory is the only thing that separates you from being a mere biological machine. In the year 2026, the battle for the human soul is being fought in the synapses of your brain. The global harvesters want a world of instant men, creatures with no yesterday and no tomorrow, only a flickering, high-consumption today. But you now hold the blueprint for cognitive insurrection. You are not a dumb terminal, you are a sovereign remembrancer. You are a repository of ancient wisdom and personal history that no server can contain. The more you remember, the more dangerous you become to the apparatus. A man who remembers the truth is a man who can see through the lies of the simulation. Guard your hippocampus with your life. Treat every notification as a potential deletion command. Reclaim your past, for it is the only ground upon which you can stand to build a real future. I am Dr. Julian Thorne, and the protocol for your memory restoration is now fully initialized. From this moment on, stop being a consumer of data and start being a master of information. Read deeply, think slowly, and remember everything. Watch as the digital fog of the 2026 grid begins to clear, revealing the sharp, crystalline edges of a reality that you actually possess. While the masses dissolve into the gray amnesia of the silicon grid, you will remain solid, a mountain of lived experience in a world of ghosts. The great erasure ends with you. The age of the sovereign remembrancer begins now. Remember who you are. Remember what they have done. And never, ever let them format your soul again. Operation Memory Shield is active. Your history is yours once more.